So I need you to go down to your local comic book shop. And I'm not just talking to Paul. I'm talking to everyone on here. Hi, everyone. By the way, I'm PJ. That's Paul. This is Two Middle-Aged Geeks on Film. If you're on the Patreon, you know that already. We don't need to introduce ourselves. Although, if you're listening to this after the fact and you're not on the Patreon, you may not know. Hello, welcome to Two Middle-Aged Geeks on Film. I am your host, PJ, and I'd like to introduce you to Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob.
That
If you
looks
have not,
spectacular.
yes, it is spectacular. This is real, by the way. This is not like a fake thing. For those who don't know, Kevin Smith actually wrote a sequel to Clerks 3 as a one-shot where Archie and the Riverdale gang end up at the Quick Stop and the View Askew universe. It's
And
real, it's delightful, and you need to read it.
and they hear the word "fuck" for the first time, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. I am still shocked that Archie Comics allowed this to exist.
I do have to read that, if only because it's a sequel to Clerks 3, which I both love, which we'll get to eventually. We're going to cover the View Askew universe eventually, amongst all the other thousands of franchises we're going to cover. Hell, Kim was getting in on the executive producing side.
Producer all of a sudden. When did that happen?
I was talking to her about some of the stuff we're doing. She's like, "This is what you should do." I'm like, "Okay, I'll pitch him in our group chat."
And then you didn't. She did.
She did. I said, "Go ahead, pitch them," and she pitched them, and she some good ones in there, actually, some fun ones. Some ones that I actually already told her, we already planned to do that one, so don't worry about that one. But we've got a lot of stuff we want to do, a lot of stuff we want to cover. But first things first, the Patreon exclusive side of things, we want to get through the MCU, which we are trucking through slowly but surely.
It's not even that slowly.
No, it's not that slowly, but compared to like how many are out there, I guess you'd say. Are like, if you still like you're in phase 2, your Captain America: The Winter Soldier is today's episode. And if you're listening to us on the Patreon, thank you so much for being a part of the Patreon or part of the YouTube membership. If you're not, you're listening to this back in like November or December, sometime whenever I decide to put it out there to the public feed. Well, thank you for watching also. But you can join the Patreon, and there's so many more out in there already. Already recovered like probably phase 3 and almost 4 by now, probably, depending on what's going on. But we wanted to cover the MCU as a long-term plan and didn't want to disrupt everything else we were doing. We did just finish up our Superman run, which is a very exciting episode there. You can go back and listen to that one for sure. In fact, we're changing some minds of people out there. I've had some people talk to us saying that they listened to our review and were very excited about it, and they went back for a second viewing because of it, and that made me happy.
I am shocked over and over and over again how many times I've had people come back after they listen to our podcast and they're like, honestly, I was not down with a movie. And then I listened to you guys talk about it, and I'm a lot more down with the movie than I thought because you guys are very I'm not going to say persuasive, but like just we have a very specific way that we look at everything, and the way we break it down, they start to see it for a way they didn't. And I think that's really cool.
And I think we like not to pat ourselves on the back. I think we try to be positive, and when we are positive, when we do love something, our enthusiasm can definitely be contagious. I know we do that for each other in times and things. There's sometimes we've had like films where I haven't like completely loved that you've like talked to me about afterwards. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, he's right. And like I started liking it even more, and vice versa. That's what we do. We just gotta help push each other up.
It's so funny because I mean, not for nothing, and this is going to be so funny if you're listening to this after the fact, I guess, but also it won't really matter because I feel like this is going to be a conversation that's going to be going on for a little bit. But this weekend, the new I Know What You Did Last Summer came out.
Yes.
And you and I both kind of like, we like the original. I don't think it's like an amazing slasher movie. I think it's like a perfect 90s camp slasher film that Kevin Williamson wrote. And like, it's got a good cast, and that's kind of what elevates it above being just forgotten about.
Right.
But this new one has created like all sorts of drama online for its third act, and it's real weird because it just makes me think that everyone's way more precious about that movie than they should be, because the third act twist is really great because it's the other side of the Halloween 2018 coin about dealing with trauma.
100%. And I liked it for that. I agree. Like, I feel like the original film was kind of placed on this weird pedestal. I even like asked around, like, do you guys really love this film that much? Because I remember when it came out, like, I remember watching it in the theater. It's actually, I mentioned this before, this is one of the first times I had a book that I read that wasn't like a classic, Mark Twain
Yeah.
or whatever. That actually became. I guess this is a book I got at a book fair at some point. Just randomly picked up at a book fair, and they made it into a movie. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I know this book. I know this story. I want to see this movie.
From what I understand,
what's that?
It's so different.
It is really different. It is pretty different, honestly. There's some like the theme is there, but otherwise there's a lot of differences to it. But I remember like going there, liking it, and being, it's cool, but like not like loving it, like not being. I mean, I saw the second one. I liked it enough to watch the sequel.
Mhm.
But then it was kind of weird. Like since then, it's like people talk about the '90s horror, like Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I'm like, okay, Scream, I get as like living past the age and being that like kind of like iconic kind of movie in a way. Like I know you did last summer, like being like the compatriot or mentioned the same. I'm like, this doesn't feel
It's
right.
the Kevin Williamson.
That's partially what it must be, really.
Yeah.
But
But like no one talks about teaching Mrs. Tingle.
right? Yeah.
I don't
guess
know.
that's probably the reason. Maybe I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's not good,
right?
so that helps.
But they announced this movie coming out, and I remember being like, "Really? Okay, they're definitely." I don't want to say I didn't want to say they're scraping the barrel, but like it seems like it is one of those kind of things where like I didn't think it needed a big like remake or reboot or whatever. It wasn't like one of those things like okay. So I was not like I was like, okay, it's cool. I'll probably see it eventually. I'll probably see it on streaming. And then you went this weekend.
Yeah.
And, well, you changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I walked out because it was funny because I also wasn't planning on rushing out to see it, but a couple of my friends and one mutual friend of the podcast had both posted like very positive reactions in a way that I wasn't anticipating, and I trust both these people inherently. And I was like, huh, interesting. And then one of them reached out to me privately and was like, I'm not joking you, like, go and see it. So I looked at the times and there was one that was starting in 35 minutes. So I bought a ticket and hopped in the car and drove to the theater to go see it that night. And I was like pleasantly surprised.
Wow.
Again, I went in going, why? Like, I thought the trailers were fun, but like, it's I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Right.
But I was so shocked that the movie was so in on its own joke about it being I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that it was kind of remaking the original, but also being a sequel.
A reboot.
Yeah, it was way more fun than I anticipated. I mean, again, it's kind of just Halloween 2018 in some capacity, down to being like a requel.
Right.
But it works.
Yeah. I mean, you got excited about it enough. And then I said, okay. So when you talked about it, you talked about it enough. I'm kind of like, okay, you know what? I have some time on Sunday. I can kind of squeeze it in. I was taking little breaks. I had seen Superman 3 times in the theater. I know Fantastic Four is coming up next week. So I'm like, okay, I could probably take this Sunday off and just like do some work around the house or something. I'm like, yeah, all right, I got a little time. I'll squeeze it in. I went today and squeezed it in. And I was pleasantly surprised as well. I think my review basically states it's good enough for a summer popcorn slasher. It's good enough fun to watch, and there's some fun moments to it for sure.
It's not like an amazing movie, and I don't want anyone to get in their heads that we're like, God, it's just so good, and like you need to see it. Like, it's just totally serviceable and totally fun.
Exactly.
And if you can get past the third act stuff, and I don't mean get past, but like if you can get on board with it, I should say.
Right. It's definitely takes a swing. I like it for that swing. Especially because it might be because I'm not as precious with the franchise. That might be why we have an easier time with it. Somebody really loved that franchise. They might have a more difficult time with it. I don't know, but
I just think that people are being too precious about it because there's no world I feel like that this is a bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's also particularly like good, but it's not bad. Like, it's fun. And I just think that people got so weird about the third act, and like it's a good swing. And I honestly, one of the best mid-credit scenes I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Yeah,
like
it was solid.
So well played.
Right. For knowing it's what it is, what the franchise is, and where the franchise could go if they do have a sequel, which I think they're planning. At least the filmmakers were definitely planning on it. They left
and this opened basically exactly the way the first movie did in the 90s. So like that's not a bad thing if it legs out, and I feel like this is going to be one that kind of like Karate Kid Legends, which you and I both enjoyed well enough. Once it hits Netflix, people are going to watch the shit out of that.
I think
And
so
I
too.
and I think that that's where it's going to get its sequel, is not because it made over $100 million,
Right.
but also it's going to find an audience on Netflix because of Cobra Kai.
Agreed.
And I would not be surprised if I Know What You Did Last Summer kind of got the same thing.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it's a sleeper hit streaming wise, and I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was or there wasn't, though. Honestly, I mean, and honestly speaking, I don't care about the franchise enough. If they never make a follow up to it, I'm not
Eh,
like it's fine, it's fine. But
yeah,
the
but I
door is
kind of
open for it.
do genuinely want to follow up.
The
I'm
door is
not
open
gonna
for it.
lie. Like I do want that follow up.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm for it. If it happens, I definitely go see it. I'm just not gonna be mad if it doesn't. That's all. I guess that's what
No,
it
no,
is.
no. That I understand,
So,
obviously.
yeah.
Um, similar, although I'll say this, I'm glad we got this sequel
Yeah.
because I would have been pissed if after First Avenger we didn't get the Winter Soldier.
I like what you did
What a
there. I like what you did
segue!
there. It was a nice
That was
segue.
beautiful.
Yeah, we
Um,
are covering the Winter Soldier, and yeah, I think it's easy to say. I'm not going to get into a rating system yet because that's at the end of the episode. But I don't think
like
it's
that stopped us in the past.
true. But I will
I
give you
know.
this. I will give you this. I think it's easy to say out of the big three, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, this is by far the best number two of the of the films. Captain America has the best sequel compared to Thor: The Dark World and Iron Man 2. I super enjoyed this film, and this film, to nobody's surprise, it is actually one of the most well-loved Marvel MCU films. Always talked about, tops a lot of people's lists for sure. This is considering what Captain America: The First Avenger did to set up Captain America in the MCU, and then the Avengers was really Cap's first film in like the modern time. So it's kind of like almost like that almost served as like the first Captain America, really. It almost First Avengers almost like a prequel, and the Avengers like really Cap's first movie like in our MCU times. So this is like the first film where it's like focusing really on him. Obviously, we got Black Widow in there. Obviously, you got Winter Soldiers introduced, or not introduced. Winter Soldier is introduced, I guess I should say. There's a lot of sidebars, but it's really a Captain America film through and through, and he does a great job of giving him the center stage and to showcase where he would fit into the MCU comparatively to someone like an Iron Man and Tony Stark, and comparatively to a god amongst men as Thor goes. And it's the first Russo brothers film, who obviously have made a big step in the
Yeah.
MCU, make big footsteps to follow in the
I mean,
MCU.
yeah, they're going to be the first people to direct 4 Avengers movies when everything is said and done. Assuming that they don't get fired along the way. Not
Five.
that I think they're going to, obviously, but stranger things have happened.
That's true. I would say 5 if you count Civil War, but that's what we're going to talk about later on.
No,
We'll talk about that during Civil. We'll talk about that during
honestly,
Civil
no,
War.
you're not wrong, but also in some way you could call it 6. This is kind of Avengers light. I mean, you
Yeah.
have half of the team.
Yeah.
At least.
True. That's because the Falcons is in there as
Uh-huh.
well. It's his first appearance, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You
But
got
yeah.
the head of the Avengers, which is Fury at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the pieces. Like there's an argument that they've only made Avengers movies.
There's an argument to be made, that's for sure. This is the least overt Avengers movie I would say they've made for sure, though. But it is quite a different concept from the first film. The first film was such a patriotism, like adventure, swaggering adventure. This is definitely a spy thriller kind of movie, a government thriller kind of movie, kind of the case that we've done in like the 90s in the MCU. It's like takes down like the fantastical a little bit, and that's not to say it takes it out because there's a lot of fantastical stuff in there, but it kind of grounds it, but like in a not only a better way, but in a different and more comic booky way than like what Batman did, like what the Dark
It's
Knight did.
definitely a stripped down
Right.
film. It's they said in the beginning, and I do think there's a little smudging with this. They've said that the idea is that it was supposed to be like a 70s thriller, and I'm not going to go as far as saying that it like really is that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it is it wearing its heart on its sleeve? Yes, absolutely. There is inspiration there, but it's not really that. But it is a paranoid thriller. And I
Yes.
really appreciate that that was the route they decided to go. It works because it is so different. And I think that the one thing the 3 cat movies can all be said about, they're all different.
Oh
And
yeah.
they're all doing different things, and they're all kinda different genres, and I really appreciate that they all work on their own way. But this was the first time I felt like the MCU made a straight up action thriller, not
Hmm.
like I like Iron Man 3 a lot. It's a thriller, there's action in it, but I would argue this is straight an action thriller from beginning to end, and I think it's at its best because of that, and because the cast is so good and so game,
Oh
down
yeah.
to Robert Redford. Robert fucking Redford is in this movie giving just a great performance, game to be in a film that doesn't dare to be like, "Yes, like, it dares to say, "We're still a comic book. We're gonna do comic book stuff, but we're also gonna treat it like a real paranoid thriller," something we really hadn't seen in the movies before.
I agree, and it's also right up like Robert Redford's alley. That's just like
Right,
the kind of
because
stuff that
again,
he did.
3 Days of Condor.
Exactly, it's kind of stuff this thing through the Condor. And he does that kind of stuff in this stuff. Even like later times, like Last Castle, Spy Game. He has done this kind of thing before. Like this is kind of right up his alley. So having him be a part of it automatically kind of sets a tone in a way. And
Right.
what I love about this is almost something that, and I risk saying it. Why do I say that name? I almost feel like Zack Snyder could have learned as far as when he wanted to make a grounded superhero film, when he did Man of Steel, the Russos did that because it felt grounded the entire time. The only time it didn't feel grounded is when Cap used his powers. Like I almost forget. The movie is so 70s thriller that I kind of forget that Captain America is a super soldier until he
Yeah.
gets into some of those action sequences. You're like, oh, that's a superhuman right there. Like even from the get go, like the first opening action sequence on the boat. All of a sudden he jumps down without the parachute. You see him like kicking ass, and
Did
you're
he
like,
jump out? Did he have a parachute? No.
oh,
No, he
no, he
did not.
didn't. Right.
Frank Grillo's freaking great in this, by the way,
Oh,
as Rumlow.
oh, absolutely, 100%. He's actually the glue, in a way that holds up the bad guy side together. In a way, I should do spoiler
Mhm.
alert. Because like Robert Redford is not an action hero anymore. Obviously, he can't do any of the action stuff. So you need
Right.
somebody like who can kind of be that
He's the
guy.
mastermind.
That's right. Pulling the strings. He's the Machiavelli. But Grillo does a great job as the action set piece when he needs to happen, and he has a lot of good pieces, a lot of good moments with both Cap, Sharon, with everybody. He's really he's the kind of guy you want in this role. Really,
Well, the
honestly.
dude's a legitimate action actor, and I
Yeah.
think that it's such a bummer that it gets lost on people because truth of the matter is, yeah, a lot of the stuff that he has been in where he's like the star or a co-lead at least, it's been like a streaming exclusive or like
Right.
direct to video type of things these days, but he's always so good, and I think people forget about the Purge movies because when he took over in the Purge Anarchy,
Came
that
him.
like that series became great because of that.
Yes.
And because he was so good, and they kind of turned it into a Punisher film.
Yeah.
I've made the argument that you could actually say that one of the best Punisher movies ever made is Purge Anarchy, and I was almost a little bummed that he played Rumlow because I think he would have made a great Frank Castle once upon
Oh,
a time.
you would have absolutely. Not that John Bernthal is not doing
No,
great,
yeah, it's not
absolutely,
a
but
knock at Bernthal, don't get me wrong.
it's funny, actually. I think they're both very cut from the same cloth, Bernthal and Grillo. I can see them like when they meet, if they meet, everyone's like like
Yeah.
matter and antimatter exploding in a way because they're kind of like so similar. But yeah, so you can't have Grillo. Then definitely Bernthal's a good option for sure. But yeah,
I still can't believe we're getting him on the big screen.
I know.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah,
The
me
fact
too.
that we're gonna get Bernthal in a Punisher or as Punisher in a
Yeah,
Spider-Man movie is just
awesome,
I
awesome,
love it, and you just know that they're gonna try to do um, like, comic cover from when he first made his first appearance.
absolutely.
Did you see what Feige was saying during the press stuff this weekend?
Maybe.
Um, he was talking about that in particular, and he was like, "I want people to realize, like, yeah, we had a lot of fun where like Spider-Man was more involved in all these other things, but we really made the point at the end of No Way Home that he was going to be on his own again, and we
Oh,
wanted him to be doing ground level New York based Spider-Man things."
Good.
Like, this is not world-ending stuff. This is Peter dealing with, like, the, like, ground level type things, and I think
Good.
that that's a good thing because he was talking a lot about cutting back on budgets. He also talked a lot about what's been going on with their overexpansion. He called it out directly and said,
Yeah.
We got lost in the
Lost the
weeds.
plot. Yeah.
Like, what happened was just we were told we needed to do these things, and we just got in over our heads."
Yep.
And he's said now that, like, the Kang storyline stuff was actually already written out before the stuff with Jonathan Majors happened,
Yeah.
which I kind of actually believe, because that would explain why they tied everything up so quickly in Ant-Man to be like they redid that whole 3rd act to have him get defeated.
Right. But
Um,
why do you have the post credit scene that you have though? That's the thing.
no, I one of those things that what do you do? Because you know how they are. There's a lot of rumors about the multiple different ones that they had for Fantastic Four until the ones they landed on.
I think it's easy to say now. I think it's easy to say. I'm
I
not saying they're dark. It's not, but I don't. It is very
I get it. Don't get
convenient
me wrong,
sometimes.
but I think that he's always been forward enough that I think there's actual kernels of truth to it.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Um, I'm not saying it's all completely true, but the fact that he's even willing to like take the L's on the stuff that's been happening
Right. Right.
makes me buy it more.
I get that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of it was a little bit both sides of things. Like if maybe he
I
came
think
to the
it
decision that
helped.
like Kang, like maybe it wasn't as big as he thought was going to be, and then
Yes.
it happened. He's like, okay, we'll use that as an excuse to kind of like
Yeah.
and at this point, potentially, I could see that being true potentially. I do know he says he's about a 7-year plan right now.
Yeah.
See that, and like he mentioned, like one live action TV show a year.
Potentially. Yeah.
Doesn't want things like sitting on the bench like because Ironheart I was on the sidelines for like a while. Wonder Man's been kind of on the sidelines for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, in the Ironheart thing, they ended up redoing quite a bit of it because continuity-wise, stuff had to change, and apparently they even went back and re-edited Miss Marvel,
oh, I didn't know that.
because it had that scene of her, like, going to recruit people,
Mm.
and she was one of them, but that scene no longer makes sense in the context of everything, so apparently they've taken it out of the
Oh, wow,
show.
interesting, interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw people I haven't gone back to look myself, I saw people talking about it, on the internet the last few days, so
Interesting. I mean, I'm happy. I'm actually happy they're tightening the ship a little bit and doing that. I think it's only a good thing as far as things go. Nice to have
yeah,
that as a bonus, and I'm sure it'll survive and be on YouTube and stuff if you really want to go take a look at that particular scene.
yeah,
But
and Miss Marvel hasn't even had a 4K release yet like some of the other shows, so, like, pretty easy to work around it.
yeah, I will say I was very happy to hear like somebody, the journalist who was talking to him, I think it was from Variety, I want to say, specifically asked him about Clea and Brett Goldstein as Hercules and Harry Styles as Star Fox and said, "What are we ever going to get anything with them? Are we ever going to see them again?" And his Feige's answer was, "Well, do you want to see them again?" And
Right.
I was like, in my head's like, "Yes, yes, I do, yes, I do." So, but it wasn't a direct no, so I'm happy with that. So
I'm assuming he's playing a little coy because 'cause it's gotta be part of that 7-year plan
I
at
think
this
so
point.
too. I think
Um,
something like that.
Definitely don't think they're gonna waste their talents, and I thought the other nice thing was and it just goes to it's exactly what we've been talking about with Secret Wars, by the way, but he said that they are gonna start recasting the actors,
Yes, that's how
and
it
he
happened.
was saying that we can't lean on the legacy stuff forever,
Right.
and Secret Wars is gonna give them a pretty fresh reset to do that. Like,
Yep.
he wanted to give these X-Men actors, like, one last real
Hurrah.
chance.
Yeah.
And especially because, like, he was involved with those movies in some
Yeah.
capacity back then. So, him giving the cast a better send-off feels earned,
Yeah. Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely.
and I'm okay with that. So, as long as it makes sense, I'm also glad that he's willing to say that they're going to recast also.
Right. I also like the fact that the TV shows are going to be separate from the movies now. Like they're going to focus more that way and like not like completely separate. Like you might have some crossover here and there, but it's not going to be like the homework that it had kind of felt like it had.
Yeah.
Like you have to go back, I have to see every project through. Like you can probably skip some projects if you need to. It'll be more standalone, but it'd be nice to have some connectivity still. So probably, it seems like the best of both worlds. What I'm hoping for.
Yeah, it seems like Disney is listening to him again, which is good. And I
That's
think
fun.
part of that is that yeah, about time, number one. But I think it also you know, looking at Winter Soldier, you're reminded how hard it could have been to make this work, and yet they made it work like it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
And it's so interesting because the movie after this directly is Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And or no, it's Guardians
No,
then Avengers, right?
Avengers 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Avengers, yeah, Captain, Guardians, and then Avengers 2.
Okay. Yeah. So, but like we had this and then Civil War happens like almost immediately after Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
And they went big event, big event, big event really, really fast with Guardians and Ant-Man in the middle of those.
Right. Yeah.
And those were the big swing movies in some capacity because they were different, so
Yeah.
different.
It's
And they
hard.
weren't
It's funny
playing
to
it safe.
imagine. It's funny to imagine, to think about how much of a swing Guardians of the Galaxy was.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that next episode, obviously, because that's the next one. But like that
What
was like
perfect timing considering Superman.
right, yeah, with the James Gunn of it all. I mean, there was like no world where they, and like you talk about. Oh, we joke about how Iron Man was a C-lister or whatever that began it. I mean, Guardians. If Iron Man was a C-lister, then the Guardians were like a D-lister or D-lister. No one knew
Easy.
who they were, if that, if that.
Yeah, like
Um,
what Brian Michael Bendis had a run in the
yeah,
2000s, but like Guardians never took off
no,
really. Like
no.
I read them. I loved Rocket. I have the old Rocket and Groot comics, like the
Mhm.
limited runs. I have the old Rocket one from years ago, but like no. Dude, I
Mhm.
was at Comic-Con that I was going to talk about this in that episode, but I was at Comic-Con the year that they announced it.
Right.
And they showed the concept art, and when Rocket got tossed up on screen, I started to get real misty-eyed. I was like, "This is not really happening. What?"
Supposed to happen, right? Yeah, it's sort of a weird
Like,
kind of
I couldn't
swing.
believe it, and just unreal.
But yeah, that's I don't got too far into that because that'll be next week's
Oh, yeah,
episode
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. But yeah, no, but the success of these movies here, like the Avengers, like Winter Soldier, like kind of really fueled the idea that we could take these kind of wild swings, and the wild swings are what like really solidify the rest of the MCU, quite honestly, because that like when those were successful as like the big swings were, then you have a working universe, and something
Mhm.
Marvel really has to get back to. Like if you're gonna say like we both still enjoy most of the MCU like movies that come
Yeah.
out,
Flaws and all.
yeah. Yeah, we've always said like I mean, and some people call us easy likes, and maybe we are. We like just like being in that universe, but we
It's
can
not
even
bad to
admit,
be easy liking
right?
things, by the way.
I agree,
Like, enjoying shit is not a bad thing, you
right?
guys.
We can, but we could admit that like it's obviously not as strong as it was during this heyday, of course.
Right.
So we'd like to get back to that. Hopefully, Fantastic Four is a good step back to that direction. I mean, I think
Uh,
if it is, Thunderbolts will take that first step, despite it not like being gangbusters at the box office. It definitely kind of was well received and well liked by a lot of people. So I think it's a good first step back in the positive direction. So hopefully we'll continue that way. But
I think, Thunderbolts is already finding its audience
I
because
do too.
I've been seeing tons of people ever since it hit digital being like, "Wait, this is actually good. Like, why didn't anyone tell me?" And it was like, "We've been screaming it from the rooftop since opening night,
Mhm.
but that's fine."
Yep.
Like,
But one thing we
yeah,
didn't stream was this movie because this movie kind of got bigly out there quickly, and everybody seemed to love it from the word go. And
yeah.
like I said, if you look at the top list of the MCU films, this is usually right up there. A lot of people have this as their number one, and
It's always in the top 5 for like, anyone you talk to, really.
understandable
Mhm.
because it has, like you mentioned, a great cast, a great vibe. It's consistent, and I think I'll say right here, we'll get into it as we go on, but I think it has like 4 action sequences which aren't just like good; they're like top of the line for MCU. If you were to list like the top 10, 15 action sequences in the MCU, I think Captain 4 of these could be in the top 10 out of like
It's
all the films
actually
we've had.
I don't disagree with you, and I would argue that Civil War also has that, which is crazy. And it's a little weird because as much as I like their two Avengers movies, and we'll get to this, I actually think Endgame gets a little jumbled with its action.
Yeah,
And it's like not necessarily a good thing. Whereas then you watch this and it's kinetic and it's
right.
crazy and it's interesting. And again, Civil War, dude, the airport fight is
It's great. Yeah,
honestly, that may be the best action sequence in the MCU.
could
Just
be.
kind of because it also features how many characters all involved in it on top of it. But
Well,
like,
that's what's amazing about it, and that's why Endgame goes off the rails. I think is because like Endgames has just so it's like a cast of thousands. You're trying to do an action sequence for the cast of thousands and getting everybody their spot. It's hard to
yeah.
linger on anything and let anything breathe too much. So, but I think they did a phenomenal job with what they had.
Oh, 100. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, this is not like a critical knock in
right.
like a mean way. But then you go back and you watch this, and it's like this is a legitimate action movie.
Yeah,
And they don't do a lot of quick edits to hide the stuntmen or anything. Like they legitimately really go for it. The camera lingers, you see the hits. Like it kind of reminds me of watching like a 90s action film. Back
yeah,
when we actually made action movies before Paul Greengrass told people to edit things within a millisecond of its existence.
right.
Um the worst thing that ever happened to action movies, and I still like his Bourne movies, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
But
Bourne
the
movies are
shaky
phenomenal.
cam over editing was the worst thing that ever happened to Hollywood. Hollywood
Especially,
loves to chase a trend.
I
We've
think
talked about
Paul
this.
Greengrass did a great job with it, and then like it was everybody after that who tried to mimic him. That's when it became kind of a problem. I think, honestly,
Was it Taken 3 is maybe the most egregious version of that because
might be.
Taken 3 has, like I feel like it's every 20 seconds, there's
Yeah,
some sort of edit, and you're like, "What is happening?"
right. It's kind of like I felt sick watching that movie.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't focus on it. I'm like, why? Whoa. Slow
No.
down. Take a breath. Take a deep breath. You're okay.
That
Let
dude's one of
Liam
the
do his
worst
thing.
filmmakers of all time.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm not a fan. Not a
Yeah.
fan.
But,
Um, yeah.
man, like, in rewatching this, you're right, though. I forgot just how great the action was.
Every like 20 minutes, I was like, oh, that's right. This is in this film. You have the boat sequence. We
Mhm.
have the Nick Fury assassination attempt sequence.
The assassination attempt is one of the honestly, it might be my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, no, it is in depth and intense, but it's awesome. You get the elevator fight sequence, and then the subsequent Cap like fleeing
Yeah.
the Shield headquarters. You got the first time you see the
The
Winter Soldier with
bridge.
her cap, the
Yeah, the
bridge, and
bridge
everything else.
sequence.
And then the ending, the whole ending battle, like with all the things that are going on there, there's so many good fun parts in that as well. Like it just so many action sequences. There's not much time to breathe. In fact, there's only one small time they take to breathe, and I think it's actually probably my least favorite part of the film, and that is the Cap and Arnim Zola thing. That whole
Whoa!
I feel like it dragged a little bit during that. I feel like it dragged it
No!
down. I did, yeah.
No!
I love that
No!
stuff.
Bad
I mean,
Paul.
I love Toby Jones. Don't get me wrong. I love
Bad
seeing him
Paul.
from First
Bad.
Avenger,
No.
but I kind of
Squirt,
felt
squirt,
taken out.
squirt. I have a water bottle. Squirt, squirt, squirt. Bad Paul. We don't talk bad about the Zola sequence.
I mean, it's not
I
like
love
awful.
that sequence.
I don't think it's awful. I'm just saying it is probably my least favorite of the movie. That's all. This is a movie I love. I
I
feel
get
like
it.
everything is so kinetic and so energetic, and everything like is going from like boom, 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 boom. This feels like it also like we're taking a beat. I guess not necessarily bad like a take a beat, but I just love the like atmosphere we've had so far and how we get back to that. This kind of feels like okay, okay, we're
I
going.
don't know, man, because it really fits the paranoid thriller thing for me, especially this idea that someone from his past, like a ghost, a literal ghost,
You know,
is now controlling the situation. And I really love all of that. And it's the best version of having to stop to do a lore dump and like give exposition that you can do.
I
Because
guess.
I don't know, man. Like and maybe it is just because I like Toby Jones so much, but like I love that scene. And I think it's just so expertly handled
I'm
in
happy
that
you love it.
capacity.
I'm happy you love it, and it is a good lore dump for being a lore dump. It is a good lore dump. I just feel like it's unnecessary. I feel like it's unnecessarily long, and I just want them to keep going from.
Bad, Paul.
eh,
Bad.
Miles may vary. Can't agree
I
on
think
everything.
I also think it's because to this moment, and like obviously with us leading to where we find out it's about Bucky, right?
Right.
And we find out he's the Winter Soldier. I think that that scene works really well because it also is the scene that Steve starts to really struggle with what's happened,
Mhm.
because he realizes through that whole sequence that his sacrifice didn't matter.
Right.
And if anything, it actually kind of sped the process up.
Right.
And like I really think that it tests him. Now, maybe you're right, maybe it could have been a little shorter, but also arguably they build that into it.
Mhm.
Because the idea is that he's also stalling for time because he's trying to let them kill him.
Right, right, and I do understand that, I saw that,
No,
I
I
see that
know, I'm
too,
just
but
saying, at least even the movie's aware.
okay, yeah, that's fair, that's a fair point. It's not like I said, it's not like I don't like it,
I
it was the
I
one
just feel like I
time
have to fight for it. I
you can
just
fight
love
for
that
it.
scene.
It's just the one time during this breakneck speed movie that I'm kinda like, "Okay, alright, let's go."
Also, did you notice that once they blow up the bunker, they straight up do, like, the Terminator? It all when all you see all the stuff that like, all the drones and stuff that are flying in, they look like the hunters from T2, and as they're
Yes,
going through the rubble, it looks like the war sequences from T2.
it
Like,
does.
it looks like they were just so in love with T2, they wanted to do their own version of it.
That makes sense, that actually makes sense, fair.
I thought it was so funny, I'd never noticed that before, and I was like, "Those fuckers love T2." Which makes I mean,
Rightfully
and
so.
And it's not gonna be the last time we talk about T2 as a reference in a movie involving Bucky.
That's you're right, you're not wrong there.
Marvel loves Terminator 2, and they find ways to use Bucky and the Terminator at the same time, and it makes me happy.
They're trying to get James Cameron to, direct a Marvel film, that's what they're trying to do.
Did you see
I did not. It is leaked. I wasn't gonna watch the leaked trailer. I can't watch leaked trailers, so I won't do it. I won't do it.
Okay.
Won't do it. I'm gonna wait for the proper trailer to come out, 'cause, what are we doing here otherwise? Like, what can not like, to watch a Cameron trailer when it's, like, not pristine and
Yes,
perfect footage, that just feels like it's working against everything that Cameron would
Paul,
want.
it's the most glorious version of watching a bootleg trailer I've seen since the Phantom Menace trailer.
That's great. Not gonna do it. I will not.
Don't
I
be a
will
bitch,
not.
Paul.
I will not. I refuse to do it.
Bitch.
I didn't do it for Nolan for the Odyssey when it leaked out. I'm not gonna do it
You
for this.
know, I'd be fascinated to cover the Avatar movies on here.
We could. We could.
I'm just realizing that'd be fascinating because I used to be so cold on them, and now, like, I really love them.
But it's funny to me. It's very funny to me how you turned that around. I am still not cold on them is not the right word. I enjoy them, but I'm
Y You're kind
not
of indifferent to them.
I'm pretty like I appreciate what they do. I think they're phenomenally like technical achievements and they look great.
Yeah.
I think part of it's just like I'm like, Cameron, I want you to make something else for a while though. I don't want you to spend like 20 years on like 17 Avatar movies. I want you to make something between and do some stuff, other stuff as well. So I guess I'm kind of resentful of them a little bit.
No, I get it, but I think once I saw the second one,
Right.
and I like the first one. I love the second one.
Which is
Like, I
funny. I
think
know you said that to me too. I was like,
yeah. I legitimately love the second one. So I'm very in the bag now for whatever Cameron's doing, and then I watched that trailer for the third one. I was all, "Oh, he's a crazy bastard, and I can't wait."
lots to see. I will wait and I will see what's going to happen.
You'll
But
see it with Fantastic Four. It's fine.
yeah, exactly. It's just that is probably what's going to happen. I would assume that's what's going to come out.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why, because it's Disney's last real big movie. Because let's call it what it is. Ares is dead on arrival. Um,
Yeah.
that trailer is fucking bad.
Well, Avatar's not coming out till next year, though, correct?
No, it's this December.
It is this December? Avatar
Yeah,
3 is this December?
yeah.
I thought it was like 2026. That's what I thought.
I thought so too, but no, it is this December. Because it's been a year, and they were doing it every 2 years. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Is that December 19, 2025? Okay.
What? Yeah. See,
You were right. I was wrong on that one. I kind of thought it was a little earlier than that, but okay.
No, because I think then the
Late
fourth
in the
one's
game.
2027.
Okay. All right.
So, yeah, either
No.
way, it's coming out. Yeah, I'm bummed over Tron Ares. The more I see from it, the more upset I get.
Yeah, it seems like it's just getting more and more generic, and I mean, some of the visual effects look okay, but like
I just don't care.
Nine
Why
Inch
the fuck are we
Nails,
making it a superhero movie?
yeah, yeah. I saw Jeff Bridges in the last trailer, and that like gave me a quick smile because I love Jeff Bridges, but like,
Yeah, but it's the only scene he's in.
is that right? Exactly.
He
So,
said he only filmed for like a day.
right, right. That's a paycheck thing for him, bro. Sure.
Also, how can you call it Tron when Bruce Boxleiter's not even in it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how they fumbled it so bad from like. I mean, I know Legacy didn't do very well. I know that. We know this. It did not
No,
do.
it did well. It didn't do Avatar numbers that Disney expected, which was real strange.
I mean, it definitely didn't. Like a lot of people didn't like it either. Though that's the thing. We liked it a lot, but it wasn't exactly well loved either. So it was a box office disappointment. It was critically reviled a little bit, and so it's not surprising that we weren't doing another one for a long time. I was sad, but then like they took that and went like the other direction with it, and like and I don't know why they think Jared Leto's going to save it because Jared Leto is not. He's the opposite.
They're gonna practically have to hide that he's in it, to be honest with
At
you.
this point, yeah, if everything going down with him as well, so I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him and all. They're gonna probably focus on the Nine Inch Nails score. That's my guess. That's the best thing they have going for it as far as like the
Yeah, the score
public
sounds
goes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, I now like 2 Disney movies with 51% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
The other is John Carter.
Okay. I'm 51. Okay, good.
They're both at 51. I don't know why I know that about John Carter, but I do.
Because you were fighting, you got him, and you fought him to get to over 50 for the
That's
longest
probably
time.
accurate. Dude, you know how much I love that movie. I
Yeah.
love the, like, redheaded stepchildren of the Disney catalog. I really do, and it's not, like, an ironic thing, and it's not to be, like, punk about it, it's just I do.
You're a punk rocker.
I'm
Yes, you
realizing
are.
this. Well, I also think everything is beautiful because that's the real punk rock.
That's real punk rock. Right? All right, back to this film now. Back to we can go off on a lot of tangents. We could be talking about one of the greatest MCU films we've
You
had.
would almost think that both of us had been stoned or something, but no, this is just another day ending in Y.
It's true. It's true. Let's talk about Sam Wilson. Let's talk about Sam Wilson's debut in this. What a great debut
On
for
your
a
left.
character. On your left, right from the get go. And of course, we know later on the good callbacks coming for it, but it's set up here so well. And like throughout this movie, even has like the comeback callback to it towards the end. But what a great first appearance! It might be one of my favorite debuts of a Marvel hero when it was like in someone else's movie. When it was like their own movie kind of thing. I don't know if there's another one I like better at this point.
Spider-Man's the only other one. Like,
Spider-Man,
honestly, and Black Panther to that point.
right?
Civil War does it real well.
Yes, but I think this one is the ground laying the groundwork for that kind of thing. I think for sure.
Oh, it
Especially
totally is. It's interesting. I was having this thought while I was watching it, and it was because of this, and also because it has Sam Jackson and ScarJo and like all these characters around it. This is where the MCU movies post the Avengers start becoming a little bit more almost Avengers light movies. And
mm,
that's not a bad thing because it's
no,
when the universe starts to feel really lived in that the characters are interacting together and coming together.
you can pop in and out. Yeah,
Yeah. And I do think you're right when it comes to Sam Wilson in particular. I think he has such a great and wonderful and amazing introduction, and he ends up being a character that I fall in love with immediately
right.
because he is also the kind of character that you can see lives in this world and gels with these characters the right way. It helps that Anthony Mackie is like just so good in it,
Good,
and he's so
likable,
charming. Yeah,
dramatic.
his whole you did what 13 miles in 30 minutes. Yeah, I had a late start. You should be ashamed of yourself. You know what? Go take another lap. I closed my eyes for a second. Did you take another lap? I
I
assume you
assume
took
you took
another
another
lap.
nap,
Yeah.
right? Absolutely.
Like I loved that. It's so good so quickly.
I love like the bonding over the wartime thing, even the different
Yeah.
wars, like the pillow, the bed
The
being
marshmallow. Yeah.
marshmallow, and I love like Marvin Gaye, this album, and he starts
The
brings up
Trouble
the
Man
list
soundtrack.
and brings up the list of all these things like he hasn't like I love
Internet.
whiskey, moon landing,
So helpful.
Berlin Wall, Up and Down, Steve Jobs, Apple, Disco, Thai Food, Star Wars / Trek, Nirvana, Rocky 1, in parentheses, and 2.
Yeah. Also Nirvana, and it says parentheses band question mark. And then the Star Wars and Star Trek one, it says Star Wars
/ Trek.
/ Trek, but then in parentheses question mark, like
Right.
he's very confused by it. Um, I love that. I think
I
it's
love it
so
too.
perfect. And again, internet, so helpful. One of my favorite lines that Steve Rogers has ever uttered. But I like that they bond together. And so when the Hydra stuff begins happening, he goes to the one person he knows who will actually be there because they've already started to bond. They have a
Right.
kinship in who they are, and he sees something in him.
Right.
This is why he eventually gives him the shield, man.
Exactly, because he is not only is he something, he sees in him a hero, but like a
Yeah,
grounded, like personable person who's just someone to be admired. He's just someone this is a guy who I admire. He
right.
finds out more about him. He's a paratrooper. He's like, oh, that makes sense. And everything. He does like all these things, and he doesn't have superpowers. Like he's not a superpower guy. He just is a human doing the best he can, much like Black Widow in a way. But he also has the bonus of being like completely trustworthy. Like you trust him, like right, because Cap's a pretty good judge of character, I think overall, especially a good judge. He's a good judge of good character. So when somebody's like is a good person, like Sam Wilson is, Cap sees that, knows it for what it is, and like respects that person to the utmost, and it just works having them together that way.
No, 100%, man. It just God, it's so good.
It
It
is.
just really lands, and I think that you start to really see Sam Wilson, the character, and this movie's got a big cast, and it doesn't waste anyone, and that includes the Winter Soldier himself in
Right,
Sebastian Stan.
right.
Again, talk about the Terminator comparisons, and I didn't really mean for this movie, but, like, he exists kind of as a Terminator
Oh, he
at
does.
the beginning of
He
this,
does.
right? And
His first
incredible.
appearance, like when he
Yeah,
just showed
man.
up in the roadway, and Nick Fury like sees him, spots him, as like slow down. He's got a car, and he's like slowing down, like oh, he's scared of him in the car.
Well, and the camera work on that is great because
Yes.
it's like he's out of focus, it's fuzzy, you can't really see it until he comes into focus. Um, I have to credit them, number 1, for being able to hide like, obviously, if you read the comics, you knew who the Winter Soldier was.
Right. Right.
But they did such a great job in the marketing, not blowing that twist for the casual audience,
Right. It
and
was.
I really appreciate that. Like, unironically, I think that's so fucking cool.
They
And
could have made the assumption that you knew because everybody did
right,
generally know for the most part, but not everyone is a comic book nerd that way that has been reading these forever. They might not know. Um,
right.
so yeah, I agree. I appreciate that they did that as well because they made the reveal so much better. So like because that gave Cap a great moment. Like when we see him for the first time and Cap sees him for the first time and he just like has that no one does that slack jawed surprise like Chris Evans is Captain America. They're like,
Just Chris Evans,
yeah,
just in general. Like, dude, this movie reminds me how good they are at casting. And
yes,
even, like, Scarlett Johansson really comes up as Black Widow. Like, they give her this great upfront action sequence to remind you, like, okay, Black Widow's a badass because she's not in the Avengers a lot,
right, right.
and she can only do so much in that movie,
Right, exactly. I mean, this is
you
more
know?
like her Iron Man 2 sequence, but like
Yeah,
much better because she is like she's really the co-lead.
right.
And she has charisma for days, like on her. Like
Dude, she's so good in this one.
she is great. You love watching her. You believe she's a super spy. It's gonna kick your ass, and like, but she also gives that like human element that Steve needs, like kind of ground with whatever. Like he doesn't completely trust her at the beginning towards because and rightfully so. She's a super spy. She's like, she has her moments where she's more with Fury, who is keeping secrets. But when the stakes are at their highest, like you got to trust her, and she does everything the right way for him. It just they make a great team. Her and Evans are great together.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because honestly, their entire existence together of being friends in real life goes a huge way.
Oh,
Because they've
absolutely.
made so many movies together, including like going back to when they were teenagers. Because this goes back to the MTV Studios days of things, because they were in The Perfect Score together.
That's right. That's right.
A movie that I have a real soft spot for, but I am terrified to go back and watch because it's probably actually terrible. But I
Yeah.
loved it as a teenager, so I have pigeonholed it in my memory of I love that movie. I don't know if I'm ever gonna watch it again
Right. Right.
because I want to hold on to that.
Of
But there's a
course.
part of me that wants to because that's kind of where this all begins with them. And
Yeah.
they've continued to make movies together, and they will probably always continue to because they just get
Gel.
along.
Yeah, they gel. They work well together. I love like it's kind of like I feel like one of my favorite sequences with them is on the boat, and they're having like normal conversation while they're kicking ass. Like she's talking
Yeah.
about his love life and stuff. It's like it just feels you feel that chemistry right there. Of who they are. They can do that and have that rhythm with each other because that's what they do while they're like kicking people's
Well,
asses and everything.
and they continue that with the Sitwell stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because there's that whole sequence when he goes, "You're not gonna kick me off of this. That's not your way, Cap. Like, you're not gonna kick me off the top of the building." He goes, "You know what? You're right. It's hers."
Yeah.
She kicks her, and then they start having a conversation about Libby, I
Right.
think is
Right.
what her name is, and the piercing. I'm just not there yet. Like,
Right.
and they're still continuing the conversation about him dating someone. I
Right.
love
Right.
that. Like, it's so good.
Love the whole love life thing where she's like trying to get him together with somebody is so fun. It's
Well,
so
and also,
funny. And they
let
kissed up.
tell me, was that your first kiss?
It's 1940s.
Since
Yeah.
yeah, 1945?
Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. There's an
Um,
innocence
this
about
movie's
it as
really
well.
funny also.
Yeah. There's a lot of humor in it. Absolutely.
For how serious it is, it's really funny, and they I know that the MCU gets a lot of slack for being funny, but, like, it works for me. The whole 30 f the what is it? He's on the 41st floor, and he has to Falcon has to jump out of it because the building's coming down, he's like, "I said 41st floor, 41st." And Fury goes, "Do you think that they put numbers on the outside of the building?" Like, that's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, me too. I love that.
Grillo having this whole fucking talk about as Rumlow, and he's, like, talking down to Falcon, and he just looks at him and goes, "Man, shut the hell up."
Oh,
Mackie
the
gets a
same
lot
thing.
of great moments,
And he
man.
tries running out the bus. He's like, "All right, I'll be right there. Just hold on, stay there for a moment. No, can't do that. Can't stay." He doesn't jump out. "Ah, here I go!" Jumps out of the building. So good, so fun. Um,
Uh,
Speaking of Fury, one of the things I liked is a small. This is a moment that slowed the film down. But I really enjoyed it. Was when because Cap obviously has a little bit of trust issues with Nick Fury throughout, especially towards the beginning, and I love the moment where you talk about Nick Fury's granddad in the
oh,
elevator. And
so good.
it's just a slow pause beat down, but it makes everything like just that much more bigger, that much more depth. You see who Nick Fury is, and it also has him connect with Captain America because that was Captain America's day. Was like the elevators like that and everything else, and perfect
The
thing.
line, that really sets up the entire movie and who Fury is the granddad loved people. He just didn't trust them.
Right? Yeah, I love
Because
that.
he talks about the
You
bag
do.
and the
What do you
dollar
do?
bills.
He showed him. He showed him,
Yeah.
and a bag full of dollar bills and a 22 or whatever.
No, 35.
35, what is that? 35 or
Yeah.
oh, nice. Perfect.
It's just so good, man. Like, again, big fan. It really works. Like, this movie is just so full of good ideas and
Mhm.
great execution. And it's so funny because the Russo brothers really didn't seem like the kind of guys coming into this that would be able to do this. They were doing Arrested Development and Community. And this is why we have to remember not to write people off
Right. Agreed.
as
Agreed.
filmmakers because you can transition to do different things. Those dudes had been basically doing sitcoms and You, Me, and Dupree.
so
and they
hard to
came
imagine.
here.
So
Yeah.
hard to imagine that, man. And it's funny, like we'll mention. I mean, me, I can mention it now. Like I should say, like we, as you and I, have really not liked much of their stuff post their leaving the MCU.
No, God, it's
In fact,
one of which features Chris Evans, who
right,
is arguably the only good part of that movie.
right. But and we both are pretty much on record at the point saying we were not thrilled when they were brought back for the next Avengers movie, partially because of it. We have both come around on it a little bit, I think, because we do know that the Russos under Feige have been gold. So as long as they can get back to that kind of working relationship, then they might be able to pull something off. I mean, I'm hoping they can. I am rooting for them for sure.
I look, though I think they work better when they are contained by
Right.
Marvel
Agreed.
because they're not left to their own devices and whims. The
I
problem is when they're off leash and people are just allowing them to run rampant to do whatever they want, it becomes a problem.
I
Though,
think it's because they don't have a focus. That's what it is. Like the Marvel movies that are made, there's been a big focal point of we have this point A, we have to get to point B. So you have to get them there. And I think their own movies, it's been kind of like they have a point A and they're just kind of like letting it go and they're gonna see what happens. And I think it's much more like haphazard and chaotic in a way. With Marvel, they have to have that focus. I think that's the difference so far.
well, and again, I think it helps that you have a guy like Feige, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Netflix, and this is a perfect example of this. Now, some of this is a little bit hearsay to it, but I've heard that their version of the Gray Man that they initially shot was very different than the one
Oh,
that ended up. And there was a lot of disagreements behind the scenes, and Netflix ultimately like won out. And it was originally apparently more violent. It was like more of an R-rated action film, which would explain a lot of the editing and things like that. Because
right.
I was baffled watching that movie, knowing that these guys had made action movies before, where I could actually credibly see things, you know.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Um, but I'm pulling for him here, man. Like I really am because this movie's great.
Yeah,
This movie proves that they can do stuff again as long as they're contained.
right. Give them the focus. Give them someone to kind of like have that oversight on them, and they can do some great stuff. And they really can. They can shoot the hell of an action sequence. I can tell you that much. They can definitely shoot the hell of an action sequence.
Yeah,
Um,
and sometimes they bring in the right guys to also help them.
yes,
Because and we'll talk about that with the next movie, but like that plays a huge part is also them knowing when to call in help
right,
when they
right,
just might be in over their heads.
right. Absolutely. Um, Next thing I wanted to mention, I loved Cap visiting the Smithsonian or the museum and get to see his like view on like his life. That was a great way to catch people up if they hadn't seen the first one in a way. It's like pretty much that's the first Avenger right
Mhm.
there. But then man, Cap visiting Peggy afterwards in the nursing home or the hospital, whatever they are. God, that broke my heart. I was so well done between them. Um, Very powerful moments there.
Dude.
Bridging First Avenger and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, also, one of the moments that I really like or one of the things I really like about this moment in particular when he goes to the, museum is Gary Sinise is the guy who is the voice in the Smithsonian telling the
Yep.
story,
What
and
great casting there.
right, because a big part of that for me is the fact that I legitimately think of him as one of the real, like, great guys who is out there talking and, like, promoting the things for soldiers and remembering them, and, like, he's a huge part of actually being, like, very pro-military stories and things like that, so it really adds authenticity to this idea that Cap was a real soldier. I know that sounds weird, but because I know who Gary Sinise is, it really adds to that, like, this dude in this version of the universe saw Cap like every other soldier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, let's talk about the action sequence of the first one we saw. We kind of glossed over a little bit of the Nick Fury in the car. action sequence, the assassination attempt by Nick Fury. What a great shot action sequence this is. It's got the claustrophobia of him being like surrounded all the time. It has the Nick Fury badassness of it all. It has that introduction of the Winter Soldier like we talked about. It has that like little bit of humor in it. Like I love it. Well, give me this, give me that. This isn't damage. Well, what is damage? Your air conditioning is working perfectly.
So good. I love this whole thing because I also just really enjoy that we get a real action sequence with Fury. Like,
Yes.
you really get an idea of who Fury actually is. Like, there's even this entire scene later where Robert Redford's talking about where he met Fury and how he learned to trust him and put him in his, bring him into all of this. But you
Absolutely.
really see it in this sequence, and I love that. I think it's so smart, and Jackson just delivers because we forget Jackson did a lot of action movies.
Yeah.
And
100%.
for being a dude in his late 60s, early 70s, he's fucking going for it. And it really, really lands for me here.
Yeah, it really does for me as well. It's just so it really got me on the edge of my seat. I mean, I know what's happening. I've seen this movie a bunch of times before, but every time I watch it, I'm like, wow, this is just really intense watching this going down. Like it really feels like I don't know what's going to happen next, even though I do know what's going to happen next. I'm so waiting to see what happens. Um, the whole bit is just, and this is like the beginning part of the movie. It's like this could have been this could be a piece that could be in any part of like any movie. It would be the top action piece in any movie, potentially, and it's only like one of 3 or 4 like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely top notch stuff from both.
It's
From all
crazy how good it is. It's so well shot. The tension's great. The whole them trying to break into the window because everything's bulletproof, and the computer keeps saying, we're down to like 10%. What? And we should really do something. Wait, just wait. It gets down to 1%, and he goes, "Now do it." And the gun comes out, and he uses it. Is just so great, and it shows how smart he is. Like, Nick Fury's a clever dude. He's not gonna do something that's gonna just screw him, you know? He's
100%.
thinking these things through, and that's fantastic.
It is really, really great, really well done. And then like I like the idea, like I remember the first time I saw this, I don't know. Did you buy that he was killed when you first saw it? Or did
Yeah,
you
oh, yeah, the first time I
okay.
saw it,
Yeah.
I really did,
I
because
did
it
too.
was
He's an older guy. He's been in a couple movies, right? It's like we're gonna get some stakes this way, right? And that's what we're gonna do.
Mhm.
So that made a lot of sense to me. So that was also really well done because that death was treated well. It was
Well,
treated right.
and real.
Right. It gave us that emotional stake. It gave us Nat, who was heartbroken. It gave us like stoic Captain America and everything else. And it felt legitimate because like Shield was going down around us at this point. She was like infiltrated by Hydra. It was like that's the stake she needed to kill Nick Fury. What else can happen yet? But then it also makes what a great return and appearance by Maria Hill.
Mhm.
Kobe Smulders getting that moment where she's back and she gets to be a badass, save the day with them again. Love her. Love Colby Smulders, by the way.
I love her in this role, and that's one of those they obviously you he has a whole phone call with her
Yeah,
to get her out to there, and so you're kinda waiting for that to happen, and it really comes around in the best way.
right.
It's a really great reveal when she finally pops in, and she reminds you very quickly why she's so good at being in these and why she was so good in the role, which is why I get so angry thinking about Secret Invasion and how they
Yeah,
handle her character.
what a waste of a death, really, honestly. And that one, I don't like that at all. I really don't like
No.
that. Don't want to get you definitely retcon if they can. I'd be okay with them retconning dumb things sometimes.
Well, Secret Invasion might be the only one of the MCU projects that I'd legitimately be like, if they under or like unwrote all of it and pretended it didn't happen, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, it's
That
an open
it's
world.
I legitimately hate it. Uh,
I'd have to. I am gonna watch it again. Like, if it's not a secret that like while we're doing this, I'm trying to sneak in all the stuff in between, like just to get a whole complete MCU rewatch. So I will rewatch it again at the time when I get to it. But I remember watching it, being kind of like, wow, there's like what a waste of a thing. Like
of
this should like
everything.
that should have been a big event movie, or a big event TV series. But it was like stripped down to be a Nick Fury show, and like and they did like stupid things like that, and they had like the super scroll thing at the end with Amelia Clark, and like none of this is working for you at all. What a waste of Ben Mendelsohn too.
Oh my
It just felt
god.
like the whole thing just felt like a waste of time, and like I think it's just more disappointing because of the like, big storyline it was in the comics. Like
Well,
I
not
could,
just that, it's also just a waste of everyone involved. And like, you know, Fury finally gets his own project and it ends up like that.
yeah, yeah, not good, not good.
Not good. This, on the other hand, is great, and that's why we love it. One of my favorite additions in this movie is Emily Van Camp. I really
Yes,
like Sharon. I
yeah,
love this entire thing. Um, it's a small part, but it
it is.
works, and she's really good. She, like everyone else apparently in the world, has great chemistry with Chris Evans.
True.
Uh, their first interaction where she's like, he invites her in for a cup of coffee to use his washing machine is so well done. It's so
I
smart.
totally buy it. She's a great agent because I completely buy her cover story. Like it feels like she's just doing the neighborly thing, and like you're just having this neighborly person. And then they don't draw it out though, because like that's all. It's like 2 minutes later that the assassination of
Yeah.
Fury takes place, or whatever. And she comes in guns blazing, like ready to go, and she's like, "Yep, I'll place her to watch you." Like, by who? Him. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh fuck.
That was great. The whole the moment later where they're walking past each other in the hall when Cap goes to talk to Alexander Pierce, the Robert Redford character, and she's all Cap, and he goes, "Neighbor." Like, he doesn't know what else to call her. He's still so angry at, like, the
Right.
deceit. And one of the best things about this movie, honestly, is all the morality stuff that it pushes around Steve and how
Yeah.
he handles it. I think this movie's really smart, uh, putting him in situations that really make him question authority and question the things he's been doing. It really works. And again, Evans really sells it because you feel the disappointment and the anger that he doesn't trust anyone because he doesn't know what to do when it seems like everything is kind of morally bankrupt and morally gray around him.
Yeah, 100%. He stands so as a beacon, like Captain America is supposed to be. He's kind of like Superman in like the latest film. Like he is the beacon of justice. He's the guy we should all be aspiring to be. And that's what Cap is in this film. And he's not like naive. He's not completely naive about it, about things in the world, but he's going to do the right thing regardless of whether or not it's easy or it's difficult. He knows what he needs to do, and even if it goes against his like country in a way, like he's you know it's he's Captain America, but America doesn't mean the USA government. America means the values of America that he has and he believes in. He is like he inspires you. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like when Superman had the flag sequence with the kid in John Jaipur. There's that moment where Redford's character Pierce like announces that he's a traitor, and you can see how it inspires like the people of Shield, like the good guys of Shield, to like stand up. Like Grumlow tells the guy to like, he's like, start the missiles up or start the things up, get going, get up in the air, and he's like pauses and he's like, what's wrong? What's going on? Is there a problem? And finally, like as weak as this guy is, when you have Frank Grillo screaming at you, the guy's like this weak little computer guy, like that guy just says, I'm not gonna do it. Captain's orders. And you're like, fuck yeah.
Dude, that scene's so good. And it's funny because I love that whole moment once Cap gives the speech too, and Mackie looks at, so did you write that beforehand or did you just wing it? Um, but I love those sequences. It's the same thing as like Superman.
Yes,
Superman did a great job of that in the new film. Gunn really nailed this idea that a character like this needs to be inspiring.
absolutely. And he does. He is
Yeah.
inspiring. And that's when I brought this up now because Sharon, of course, backs the play right away and brings up her thing and starts like pulling the
Uh-huh.
gun. He's like, nope, like you said, captain's orders. And she becomes like the leader of the resistance within the shield. Not that it lasts very long because Romo has to do his thing. But what a powerful moment that is. It just that's the inspiration that Cap brings. It also comes in for like not just the masses, but with Sam. Like we talk about how Sam is the perfect like hero for like Chris or for Captain to trust and to go with. But Sam wants to help him because he's inspired by the great Captain America. Like this guy who's, I'm going to follow you to the gates of hell because you're doing the right thing. And if I'm following you, I can't be doing the wrong thing, pretty much.
Also, I mean, not for nothing, and I'm bringing it up a little early, but I love that that same dude pops up in Age of Ultron.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Makes me
So
happy.
good. Yeah, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. It's a great little connectivity there. He's still there doing his thing.
I can't get over just how lived in the MCU feels to this point,
I agree. And I
and
have to
in this
add,
movie in particular.
this is what I meant when we talk about like, okay, this is a timely thing. If you're listening to this like in November, we just covered Superman. And what do we say about Superman? The best thing that James Gunn decision that he made was to drop us into this fully formed universe, no origin stories, no time wasting. We are just in this lived-in world, and
Right.
it's amazing what he did with one movie gets to like what MCU took this long to get to. It's like kind of almost ironic that like they screw with Zack Snyder's movies, trying to get him to be more Marvel, to get more of this Marvel like action, this connectivity and stuff. And James Gunn does it the right way in like one movie in Superman.
Mhm.
It's amazing how much it is. Because like you're right, this feels really like a completely lived-in universe where anybody can pop in at any time. You throw in some like smaller like character like Batroc is in this film, and like that's a big Captain America villain. He only has a bit part here, but it feels like he has history here. Cap knows who he is and everything else. It's so beautifully done. I think it's really, and it really makes it like a warm blanket to come home
Well,
to.
yeah, like the Gary Shandling cameo is a perfect example of it too,
Mhm.
right? Because a one-off character we haven't seen since Iron Man 2, he was such a dick to Tony, and then to have that reveal also, you're like, well, yeah, of course he is.
Mhm.
Like it just
Mhm.
makes sense. It just works.
Yep.
Um, the entire security council is full of who's of just character actors, you know, like Alan Dale is one of them, Bernard White is one of them, Chin
Mhm.
Han. Like you have all these people who you recognize because you're like, oh, I know
Oh
all of
yeah.
them.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they're all very recognizable.
Right.
That's great. The Danny Pudi thing is really funny too. Obviously, that comes from the fact that they worked with him on Community,
Right.
but
Absolutely.
love it.
Yeah, I love it as well. It's great stuff in there. It does feel lived in. That's what we like having. We like having it, that lived in universe. But yeah. So that's Sharon in a nutshell. I think we got through most of Sharon stuff that I liked and enjoyed. The Sharon of it all is a little strange. Like the whole, I always kind of felt that was weird. Related to Peggy, and it has this like minor maybe love interest thing going on. So it's kind of like a little weird, but that's something that's kind of weird in the comics too, to be honest. So
Yeah, but it's also it plays into a line he has a little later in the movie in some capacity, which is he has a hard time meeting people that share life experience, but the one person he could share a life experience with would be the person that's related to the person he was in love with. As
right.
weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
Like it's the one person who might actually fully understand it because she saw the pain that it caused someone else in her life.
Right.
So as weird as it is, because you're not wrong, but I kind of get it,
Yeah, I get it. I
you
do get
know?
it. I do get it. Um, so I got one thing I did. Another one of those kind of. I talked to my son about this. There's a part in this movie that's like it's one of those problems that all comic books and all comic book movies have. When Shield or Hydra makes its move, and we'll talk about that in a second when I get to that next. The great thing. So Cap escapes, right? Cap goes to Sam Wilson. So this is a big enough event. You don't think that Cap is calling in Tony, calling in like Thor, calling in like all these other people in a way. It's like, and I know Iron Man's got the stuff he's doing, and I know it's
I
like
was gonna say,
it's
well,
one of
and we
those
have to
things.
remember Stark has kind of turned his back on it, as far as we're aware.
Yeah, this is almost big enough that I feel like it would be done though.
You're not wrong.
It's a comic book problem too. It's always like you have this big like world shaking problem. They're like, well, where are the X-Men during this thing? Where are the Avengers? Where is like
Yeah.
they're all over the place doing their own thing, right? But it is kind of funny to think about. Like, oh, okay, it's the problem of having these like connected tissue and then trying to pull it apart a little bit. So because you can't have them appear in every movie. Obviously, it's not the same thing. You're
No.
not gonna have Iron Man appear all the time, and you wouldn't even have a room for Sam. There'd be no reason to have Sam in there, and Sam's a great character. So it does work, and it's fine. It's always something I just find amusing when I watch these movies or read these comic books.
I'm gonna go with Nick Fury said trust no one, so Cap didn't reach out to anyone.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good.
You know what?
Go with
Good enough headcanon for me.
that. Gotta love the old again. Let's talk about the elevator fight though.
Oh my god, it's so good.
So good. The setup is great.
Another MCU highlight, man.
Absolutely. Pearson obviously tries to get Cap in, and Cap gets on the elevator. It's like Hydra people kept, Hydra, Shield Hydra coming in, and I love watching Chris Evans and as Cap, like discovering what's going on, like figuring it out. Just
It's
watching
very
like,
Sherlock Holmes.
yes. And she's like one person's like grabbing the gun, like just kind of caressing his gun, like he's got his hand in his gun. One guy got the sweat going down. Nobody's talking. Cap's like, it has it. It's just a great like. Now he does not act on it. He just kind of like waits and just goes. Before we get started, does anybody want to get off?
Oh my god, dude!
So
they do this great thing in it where you kind of brought it up earlier. You forget he's a bit of a super soldier in this, but
yes,
this fight is a great example of when you're reminded because all these dudes can't bring him down, and they have this magnetic clamp that they're trying to get him stuck to the wall so they can arrest him, and he manages to like pull it off and beat all these guys at the same time. And then when it finally does get him, he's still able to fight even one
right,
like without one hand.
right,
It's really well done, and the staging's great. Evans really sells it. It's just a great moment, and it's a great reminder of who Cap is.
right. Exactly. This is who Cap is. He is the superhero of Shield. No way. And it's like great moments like and that's why you can't have a Thor in here. That's why you can't have the like because it doesn't make sense when you have that big X character with smaller stakes. Cap is like big enough to be a superpower, like a big enough to be a superpower amongst the top level humans or whatever. Like it makes sense to have that kind of power level kind of place. That works. It's like Thor versus Hulk is one thing. Cap versus these like top shield agents, like 30 top shield agents. That works as a fight sequence. It makes it more fun and gets the stakes up to where they need to be. Great moment.
Oh, it's so good. And again, like as it plays out, it's so intense. And it's just I like a good small combative fight like that. Close quarters fights. That's the thing that you see in a lot of martial arts movies.
Yeah.
And I always like that. And I felt like they really nailed this one here. And Grillo helps sell it.
Yes.
Because again, Rumlow is such a great foil for him. There's something about the way the whole it's not personal, Cap, and just the way that it goes down and then Cap throws him up into the ceiling and
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
And then he jumps out and lands on the ground and you're like, "Oh yeah, he is in fact a super soldier."
Absolutely. So we can talk a little more about the scene that you loved that I thought slowed it down. The Toby Jones of it all. I will say there's one part I did like about it. There was the War Games reference, which Cap supposedly has seen or something like that. Kind of, oh, that's what we did get to see. Okay, cool. I like it.
ScarJo also delivers that line so joyously, and it makes me happy.
Absolutely. And I do love that they survived the missile attack by like basically again Cap being a superhero, like throwing himself on top of with the shield and everything else, protects them from the missile. Well done stuff.
Oh, dude, it's again, this whole movie is just this way, right? I can't speak highly enough of it. The entire highway sequence, the big fight when Bucky is finally revealed is just again top tier stuff from them. And a big part of it is because I feel like you watch this and you just cannot look away from the filming, how it looks. The fight is so good, but Sebastian Stan really sells it.
Yes.
Because there's so much acting going on in the physically until the reveal when the mask comes off. And it makes it more terrifying. I do like that it also puts Natasha like in harm's way. She tries to outsmart him because she's the one. She's fought him before, kind
Hmm.
of.
Yeah. Maybe
Her
they mentioned
partner
it
was
before. Yeah.
killed. He got shot through her.
And
Bikini season's over.
it's a hard style of acting too, because he has to be robotic
Yeah.
to a degree, but yet showcase just that level of emotion, because we know that as time goes on, he starts cracking a little bit. And like when he cracks, it's actually kind of this great moment. Like he's like, because he doesn't crack and like he doesn't like all of a sudden like recognize Steve. He just like when Steve recognizes him, it just kind of gives him this like moment of, wait, what? He knows me. Why does he know me? How does he know me? What is going on here? And it's like has a hesitate, that moment of doubt, which makes for a powerful moment. Doesn't stop him altogether, but it's a great set of acting,
Well,
piece of acting
and it
by
plays
Sebastian.
into the finale, right?
Yep, right.
Because that whole thing continues, and when he starts beating him,
Mhm.
and he's beating Chris Evans, and he's just beating Cap, and he goes, "I'm your friend," and he goes, "You're my mission."
Right.
Well, then
Yes.
finish the mission
Right.
because I'm here until the end of the line.
In the line
And the look on his face when it finally starts to crack
cracks
through, and you're
through.
like, "God, dude, like, it's so good."
Yep. So good. And that continues the rest of the thing. Obviously, like, he helps save Cap at the end, drags him out of the river, and he leaves. I love the ending sequence with him, like his post credit scene, like where he gets to go. He goes to Smithsonian and sees his own face up there and kind of like understands what he
Mhm.
lost potentially or what he was losing and whatever else. What a great arc he has had. And considering like Winter Soldier has never had his own movie, he like had half a TV show and it was like with Falcon. That was more honestly more of a Falcon show than it was a Winter Soldier show, to be
Yeah,
totally honest with
totally.
you. But in this like era of like all these different places he's been in Thunderbolts, he has had this great arc and has been able to tell a wonderful story with not ever being the central character of anything he's been involved with. In Thunderbolts, I guess you could say he was like the central, him and Florence Pugh together were kind of the central character to a degree, but even that seems like it's at most 50-50.
Mhm.
Probably a little less than that. 'Cause you still got it's still Bob's story as well for Thunderbolts. Um, yeah, but it starts here, and it's what a great job he did making that believable.
And
Yeah, for
this goes to the thing that Feige said was he was always gonna make he was always gonna be a good Bucky,
right.
but he was going to make a great Winter Soldier, and you really see it, and the movie does a great job, once again, hiding who he is
Hmm.
until the reveal. There's a lot of great shadowing going on. The scene where he breaks into Pierce's house,
Yes,
confront him, and then Pierce ends up cleaning or killing
taking out
his
his cleaner.
cleaner.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Oh, we
"Dude,
should not.
I wish you had knocked." But it works, and again, they just do such a great job of making Winter Soldier terrifying
Yep.
until the reveal.
Yeah.
I mean, look, dude, when he catches the shield and throws it back at Steve, you're like, "I'm
Holy
sorry.
shit.
Holy
What?
shit." Yeah.
Yeah. And Cap's
Ugh,
like that too, but it's such a great moment. So it defines the who he is at that point. It's like, oh, this is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with this guy now. Oh, this
mhm.
is not. And I think that's because that's why it was so important for the opening sequence when Cap and Black Widow took the ship. They clean house. These
Yeah,
are all these like they're hydrated and shielded. It's like they're not. It's barely a problem. Like he fights back a little bit,
right.
and like it's barely a problem, honestly. And they show his superhero stuff, his speed, his strength, and everything else. He's throwing people against the wall, and then when he faces this guy, you see him catch that shield for the first time. I'm like, oh, this is not just another shield agent. This is not just a hydrate. This is somebody who's going to be able to stand up to
Yeah,
Cap
this is something else entirely,
entirely, right?
which I love.
Um, so great.
It's just a great performance. It's a great character. There's another great scene where we go back to the day that Steve's mom was buried.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that flashback. That's really good. And again, it really just adds dimension to the first Avenger because you were talking about that a little bit ago.
Yep.
One of the things that I really appreciate is even though this movie is so tonally different,
Mm-hmm.
I think that it still really loves its predecessor and finds ways to make sure that it never strays far from what it set out to do.
That's a
Uh,
good call. That's a good
yeah,
call. Yeah.
you know?
because it definitely it's such a very different movie than the predecessor. Obviously, they're very
Yes.
different styles. Joe Johnston's film, wonderful, but it's definitely much
It's
more of
my
the
fave.
campy, not campy, but campy-ish
No,
adventure.
it's a pulp film.
Pulp,
It's yeah,
pulp
it's a
adventure.
pulp
Yeah.
film.
This is completely opposite of that, but yet it never feels like it's wrong. It never feels like either is like wrongly vibing. It still feels a thing,
Mhm.
and it justifies that. It gets that those moments, like you said, the sequence with the flashbacks of the young Cap. It showcases that. Yeah, that I remember that Cap. I remember how that felt. It felt like it still felt part of the same universe, which worked.
Well, and even having the whole thing where he goes back to the base, right? And you see
Mm.
the ghost of him running through, and you have that same drill sergeant there
Yep.
yelling at Rogers, and that moment where he sees the young him, and you're like, "Damn, dude!" Like you remember a little bit, but it just lands in the
Yep.
right way. And I was really impressed with that. And I still remain impressed by that because it's not easy to come into a franchise like this, and especially one where it's growing so much. But that first film was just so different.
Mhm.
And so now you're making another film that's so drastically different, and yet at the same time, you're also finding ways to pay homage to it where you can. That whole thing when he goes to the museum and he sees the Howling Commandos, and you see some of that behind the scenes footage of that they have that's playing through the B-roll footage, you're like, damn, dude, like this, they love that movie too. And
Yes.
I really appreciate that because it's so easy to just, like, move on from it, but they make it like a cornerstone instead.
Absolutely. 100%. Love that about it. Love it. So, um, okay. Is there anything else we didn't bring up yet? Anything else we want to
I
talk
mean, the
about?
3rd act obviously is wonderful.
Yeah,
I
didn't mention it.
love
Yeah.
the Hydra reveal. I love the way that this whole storyline of the idea that they have this project that will start taking people out because they're going to be it's kind of, Minority Reporting.
Right.
And I love all that because it really works. And it really feeds the paranoia of government oversight and over control and what we're doing. Where's the line in the sand? Even though we know someone could potentially be bad, do we take that chance to do it? Again, something Superman 2025 directly deals with as well, funny enough. Um, but I really love that. And it makes for a great third act. The Pierce revealed to Jackson where he's the villain and he finally has the confrontation is fantastic, and
Agreed.
you need to have both eyes
Mm.
on it,
I love it.
and
I
that
mean,
way
Fury,
sits on it.
Fury coming back, which is a strong moment because
Yeah.
yeah, everybody believes he's dead up to that point. We should talk like when Cap gets the reveal when you bring it back and Cap like and he's like, yeah, slowed my heart down, blah 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 blah. But like it felt like it was a moment where Fury was kind of accepting his faults and his mistakes
Yes.
for what he did, which
There's a
really
lot of that in this, actually.
Cap agrees and Cap understands a little bit, but they kind of meet in a common ground. Even if Fury, that was one of my favorite moments because Fury's like he's trying to salvage Shield.
Yeah.
And Cap's just like, no, Shield's got to go too. Everybody's got to go. Hydra's go. Shield's got to go. We have the option, and like, and then like Fury takes that moment, takes that beat, and is like, well, I guess you're giving the orders now, Cap. And it's like,
Well, it's so good, and it's a powerful moment too because earlier in the movie when he goes to see Peggy
mhm.
and they have that whole conversation, number 1, we haven't talked about that, but that scene is so good.
Yeah, I mentioned it
Um,
really briefly earlier, but yeah,
yeah, but we, like, didn't dive into
yeah,
the
yeah,
heartfeltness of this idea that they've had this conversation probably how many times
yeah,
with Peggy having very clear dementia.
right.
Um, so how hard it must be to still be there for her and having this conversation that many times, you know?
It's powerful. It's sad. It's anybody ever dealt with dementia before? It's really sad moment,
It's
but
really
it's like
sad.
it's doubly sad given this situation
Yes.
where like he had to abandon her. I mean, not abandon. He didn't abandon her. He
He
died
sacrificed
or sacrificed
himself.
himself.
Right. But there's this moment where he's talking to her and he goes, "You know, Peg, part of the reason I'm with Shield was because you built it."
Right,
Like, it's one of the only reasons he's stayed.
right,
And
absolutely,
so he has to make this decision to destroy this thing that the love of his life created.
right.
And that's powerful. And, you know, this is the same dude who earlier in the movie was like, I don't necessarily know if I want to be here anymore. And Sam Wilson's like, well, what makes you happy? And he goes, I really don't know.
Right.
I don't know. And it turns out being a leader who's helping people is what makes him happy.
Right. Absolutely.
So it really works. That whole thing is great. The final fight, as I said, is wonderful. And I love that they have Jules's Bible verse
Yeah.
on Fury's gravestone.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's pretty much.
A little meta humor there, but it's real good.
Yeah.
Anyone comes asking for me, tell them you can find me right here.
I love it.
It's good, man. It's a good movie, and you know the setup for Age of Ultron, and it's real good too. In the mid-credit scene,
Yep.
when we see
Aaron
Quicksilver, and
Strucker and
yeah, God, it's good.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch
Scarlet
and
Witch.
in their debuts in the MCU. Which, and of course, we know Scarlet Witch plays a very large part of the MCU, and hopefully, it might not quite be done depending on how
No,
things
it's
go.
not. It's not. It's not.
I don't think so either. You know, she's denying she's going to be in anything, but we'll find
No,
out.
she's not denying. She's doing the skirting thing.
Well, she denied she's in the movie. She denied next Avengers movie. She said she's not in the next Avengers.
Oh, maybe that. But
yeah, I think she can deny that because I don't think she's part of this particular one. But there's something going on for sure. I mean, they got the Vision Quest coming out soon as well. I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be fun.
Well, after Picard season 3, it's the only thing I care about in the TV side right now because it's being run by the same guy who did Picard season 3.
Wonder Man.
It's already done. I'm talking about what we haven't made yet.
Oh, okay. All right, fine.
I would never dismiss the great Ed Harris.
That's right. Fair enough. I'm actually looking even Ed Harris aside, I think that Wonder Man's going to be a very fun show. I think we both loved Trevor Slattery, the character in there, and it just seems like this could be a fun show. So I can't wait for that one coming out December.
Same.
Well. So
can't wait. I think that's it. I feel like I covered all my bases.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to drop real quick is I did like the world building of dropping Stephen Strange's name.
Oh yeah, I love that every single time. The Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, and you're like, oh, Doctor Strange exists.
Doctor Strange exists. That's that reward for us nerds, as it were. Love that for sure. Yeah, I got that. That's about it too. So I guess it's time to rate this movie, and
let's rate the sumbitch.
Rate the sumbitch. I'll go through the ratings as I always do, and I actually wrote down my score this time, so we can finally do this thing. Iron Man, we both gave it an 8. Incredible Hulk, I gave an 8. You gave an 8.5. Iron Man 2, I gave a 7. You gave an 8. Thor, you gave an 8. I gave an 8. By the way, this is out of 11 because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects, but I didn't make that clear. Captain America, the First Avenger, I gave a 9. You gave a perfect 11. The Avengers, we both gave 10s. Iron Man 3, I gave a 9. You gave a 10.5. Thor, the Dark World, we both gave a sad 5 for both of us. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, what did you put it at?
Let's turn that dial up, son. It's a perfect 11.
Perfect 11. I gave it a 10.5.
Motherfuck. You were so close.
So close. But not that. The Zola sequence just slowed enough for me to put it.
You're such a bitch. I can't believe you.
You know what, though? Here's the thing. You gave it a perfect 11. This is my highest rated of the MCU so far.
You know what's funny?
There is that.
This, I think, the more I think about it, this is a perfect trilogy.
It is pretty close. It is pretty. I'm gonna wait on watch Civil War and we'll go from there. But there is.
I'm having this feeling because I already know my feelings about Civil War, and I'm like, you know, man, yeah.
Maybe your favorite trilogy of
I think. I mean, it's pretty close.
Pretty close. We do have one more thing to rate. That's what we didn't talk about.
You mean cameo. The best Stanley cameo?
You have it there too. Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yep. It's not even.
I'm
so fired.
I am so fired. Cap stealing his uniform back. Just the look at Stanley, the guard's
Oh,
face.
dude, it's so good.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm so fired. So good. By
It
far
made
the
me so
best.
happy. It's my favorite, and outside of the one from the first Cap, funny enough.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. It's
Yeah.
a very good one too. So there you go. There you have it, folks. Another great time here had in the MCU on the Patreon, exclusive on the YouTube membership. Next time, that is in 2 weeks, we'll be covering a Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a good one. And yeah, so we are getting into, I don't know, because this is actually going to be a week later on. So even on the regular, if you're on the Patreon for the first time and you're watching this as it goes through, we are getting into the Ghostbusters and Men in Black saga next. That's our next regular series we are covering.
You're damn right we are.
So that is going to be a lot of fun. That's the one we're going to go. I tried telling Kim about that. She's like, "What? I understand why the combination there." Well, they had crossovers in comics, and
Well,
it's
they're
close
both
enough.
blue collar workers.
Both blue collar workers. Absolutely, they both have agencies that deal with extraordinary things in the sea. So
I knew what I was doing.
Absolutely, I like it. It's great. Ghostbusters 2, Men in Black 1 through 3. I believe this is the order. Then Ghostbusters 2016. Then somewhere Men in Black International's in there. I don't know if it's before or after the two latest Ghostbusters, but somewhere around there. We'll get through all of them. It's gonna be a lot of fun for sure. PJ, where can the folks find you?
You guys can find me wherever social medias are sold at PJ_Campbell. You can find me hanging out here with my buddy, doing the thing where we love talking movies. This is my favorite thing to do in the world, outside of going to the gym these days, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. Which I have more of, but not necessarily.
Guys, you need to know this. You just have to know this. So we have this text chain between he and just like it's the three of us. It's your beautiful wife, me, and you. And we're pushing each other to keep going to the gym and do the thing going to the gym. And I had gotten back from work today and I was like, I just don't think I can make it today. And you started fucking with me in the chat. And I was all, you know what, fucker? Two can play at this game. I took my iPad with me and I legitimately spent the entire time I watched the movie working out. So kudos to you, sir. I got a 2-hour workout in. I walked over 8 miles when everything was said and done, and I lifted for 40 minutes. So
there you go, my friend. There you go. My plan
that's
works.
What's up.
My devious plan works. You can find me.
Kim is so proud of us, by the way. It's my favorite part about all of it is that Kim is just so proud of us.
Absolutely. And we're proud of her as well. Follow the news. You have Blue Sky as well. And also, I'm back on Twitter recently. It is what it is. You get all over this podcast channel. Obviously, this channel, the PLD Projects channel. This is great. I love talking movies with PJ and everybody else as well. But PJ and I, two middle-aged geeks on a film, has been a tremendous time for us. But I also do some other stuff like review with Lego. We're covering the Big Finish V coming up on that. We're also going to do some V related things like we covered Independence Day. We're going to cover Watchers 1 and 2 with Mark Singer and Michael Ironside, or switch those back and forth, Michael Ironside and then Mark Singer. And we also have my Queen podcast I do every week. I'm going through the entirety of the Queen catalog. And Holy Snokes, we've been doing a lot of good stuff. We'll be trying to change the format of that. Everyone, Matty Gunner. He's my Holy Snokes Patriot. He is doing some thematic shows. He did one on Kurosawa, and that was a lot of fun to have him get that going. We're going to do some news episodes with me as well. Keep going with that. And class action every month or so. Have a battle in that. And so keep a look on the channel. Subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You'll know when something goes live. I guess that is really it. And we will see you next time here on Two Middle-Aged Geeks on Film.
Bye.